Hey everyone, I just wanted to showcase a game I've been messing around with recently. This is Breachway. It is a space combat turn-based strategy slash card or deck builder game. It's kind of a mix between FTL and Slay the Spire. If you like either of those games, you might find this really, really interesting. It's also quite pretty and has very chill music. I've been very lucky and I've had early access to this demo for a little while now, but it should be available for you to play on the Steam Next Fest on Steam just now. I'll put a link to the store page in the description of my video, and you can click on that and you can check that out. And it has a fun little prologue, or you can do a run yourself and check it out. And if you want to do that, go ahead and do it. But I need to thank Hooded Horse and the developers of the game because they've given me access to a little bit of an extra bit of content. So I actually have access to some different mechanics, some extra cards, and I thought I'd do a run using that stuff that unfortunately isn't in the demo yet, just to kind of show you what else this game has available to it. So every time you start a run, a little bit like FTL or Slay the Spire, you'll pick your ship, which is your main chassis for the run, and the ship comes with different equipment, and that equipment determines what cards you get or can add to your deck as the game goes on. So the starter ship here is a laser-based ship. Lasers are very focused weapons. You use them to take out enemy components quite well. I'll tell you about how that works in-game. And also different ships have different reputations with the various factions available on the map. So depending on which ship you take, it kind of changes what routes you might take through the map, depending on whether you want to go for somewhere that's safe or somewhere that isn't. For instance, you go to the free roamer area to get access to space stations to trade and buy stuff, or you should go into Solari and Deadweight areas to get into fights with this particular ship. The other ship that comes with the demo is the Marauder, which is a flak-based ship. Flak is more of an area damage build. I've managed to make it all the way to the end with all three ships. I've beaten the boss with two of them. But the ship that is unique to my build of the game, and maybe a few other people, is the Lancer. And the Lancer is a little bit different in that it has a railgun. I'll explain the mechanics to this when we're actually playing, but the railgun is all about pinpoint targeting specific parts of the enemy ship and destroying them so that they can't use cards against you. It's really interesting. But they also have something called a suppressor, which is a hacking module. And there's all these different hacking cards that are available in my version of the game that aren't in the main demo. And I'm going to try and show them off in this run. So we're going to take the Lancer for a spin. You also get officers on your ships. The officers give you special abilities. So we've got Zal here. He lets us for 5 morale, which is one of the resources in the game, get 50% extra damage on an attack. We've got Solan here, who lets us return cards from our discard pile. This game has a really interesting mechanic involving cards refreshing and coming out from your discard pile. You don't just discard them, then redraw them when your deck is empty. They have cooldowns to them. So if you have a look here, I'll show you in game. We've got Lena here. She gives us a stat called Security, and we've got Shin here, and they actually give us let us draw a full hand if our hand is empty. So all of these special abilities are pretty great. We come with a railgun, which has 3 attack cards built into it. We have the suppressor, which has 3 hacking cards built into it. The res augmenter, which is kind of an interesting way of getting free resources while you're playing, and then the radiator here also has different ways of just messing around with some stuff. It also comes with a component plugged into it, which gives us +2 extra heat on our ship, which is something to bear in mind. But let's jump into a run and see how we go. So let's check out Breachway. All right, here we are on the map. Now, if you play through the tutorial of the game, it gives you a little bit of story and background as to why we're doing this. I'm not going to go into that for this. I'm just going to show you the gameplay off. And just very similar to games like Slay the Spire, we need to pick our route through this solar system. Now, there's a main route here, which is shown by the thicker line. And that doesn't require any fuel for us to travel along. So unlike FTL, where you're constantly trying to balance your fuel, we don't have to worry about that. But we do have fuel. It's this resource up here. And these less dark lines are actually side routes we can take. We spend fuel to travel along them. So we can change our route up a little bit, but we kind of make some choices early on that put us down a certain route. We know about a few things on the map beforehand. So these are elite combats. And the 2 factions that they are going to be for are the Solari and the Starkin. So if we come here, we're going to have to fight an elite enemy. These are space stations, and they're places we can buy, we can repair our ship, and we can sell things, and that's all we can see at the moment. There's also a boss right at the end. But let's see if we can make it to the end. Let's jump into our first fight and see how we go. We've got a blockade here. This was trying to prevent civilians from fleeing the system. Only 1 gunship has noticed your approach. It's heading our way on a intercept course. Prepare for combat. And here is our first combat of the game. So the bottom left is our hand and the stats for our ship. Top right is the enemy ship. They have 2 cards that they're charging to play, and the pips below the card, I can't quite mouse over them, but that's how long it is until that ability is available. So next turn they'll fire Laser Pulse, and then the turn after that they'll fire Shield Pulse. Laser Pulse will do 4 damage to something, and the Shield Pulse will give them 4 shields to protect them. The components themselves have their own hit points, so their laser cannon has 12 hit points, and their shield emitter has 10 hit points. They have 25 hull. They have there's a heat mechanic that isn't going to come very much with our current ship. Down here in the bottom left, we have 50 hull, 5 heat or capacity, and then there's 3 different resources available in the game that we can use to play cards. There's ordnance, there's energy, and there's mass. And different cards require different amounts. So for instance, the pinpoint tungsten ability here requires 2 ordnance and 3 mass to use, and it does 3 damage plus 1 equipment damage for each enemy equipment. So if I was to fire this at the laser pulse, because they've got 2 pieces of equipment, it's 3 plus 2, that'll do 5 damage. I've got a tungsten round here that does 4 damage, but does a 50% bonus damage to equipment, so it does 6 damage if I hit it. I've got a radiate card here, which lets me dissipate 2 heat. If my heat is at 0, I gain 2. This is free to play. You'll also notice that all of these cards at the top of the card, I can't quite mouse over it, have a cooldown. So you'll notice the tungsten round, you'll see there's a clock and a 3. That means that once I use this card, I need to wait 3 turns for it to return to my deck from my discard pile. It doesn't just return to my deck when my deck is empty. So you can actually run out of cards if you're not playing them correctly, basically. What we're going to do is we're going to radiate first of all. I'm just going to get us another 2 energy. I'm going to use that 2 energy to play Firewall. That gets us 1 security. Security is a stat that you use when you're playing hacking cards, so it's good to have that set up. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to fire a tungsten round at their shield. I'm going to fire it at the laser pulse. And that does 4 damage to that specific. So you can see that did damage to their component and it did damage to their hull. And then I'm going to fire a pinpoint round there as well. And that's it down to 1 HP, and I'm going to end my turn. So now you see that they just charge up their cards are ready to go. Now I have a drill round here. Unfortunately, I don't have the resources to play it. I need 3 ordnance to play it, I only have 2. You can also see that I'm gaining 2 to each stat every turn. If I want to, I can right click on one of these to reduce the amount that it's charging by, so I could reduce, for instance, my mass by 1 and increase my ordnance by 1. Doing that builds our heat up, so doing that too many times will slow us down. I'm actually going to do that for now. I have a hacking card here. This is Sap. It reduces my enemy shields. They currently don't have any shields, so I'm going to hold on to that until they do. I have a weapon coolant here. This will return up to 2 attack card piles from my discard pile to my draw pile. I think I need to be at heat 2 for that to work. And then we've got optimization here, which will gain me 1 ordnance for every 2 mass I spend this turn. That won't do anything at the moment. What I'm going to do is we're going to just put this back to normal. I'm going to check if weapon coolant does what I think it does. It didn't. That's okay. It's a little bit confusing, that particular card. I have had a few problems with it. I'm just going to pass our turn, which means we're going to get shot by the laser. That is 4 damage to us. You can see our hull's gone down to 46. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to play optimization, and then I'm going to play drill round. So what drill round does is it does 4 damage, but if I destroy a piece of equipment with it, it does an extra 4 hull damage. The precision tie just means I can target a specific piece of equipment. So I'm going to fire at the laser pulsar. That's going to destroy that and do an extra 4 damage to their hull. I've now got access to pinpoint. I'm going to fire that at their shield pulsar, and I'm going to end the turn there. And then next turn we can sap their shields, even though they're doing a shield point here. I can sap that, and what that will do is -1 enemy shield duration. If already at 0, halve his shield points instead, and then if I've got 1 security, which I do, I'll do that effect twice. The other card I've got here is actually another hack card. This is Restrain. It removes 1 pip from an enemy attack card, so it makes it take longer. If I've got a security, it actually makes them discard the card instead. Now, I don't need to worry about that, because this component is destroyed, and it's going to take 2 turns for them to repair it, so they're not going to be able to shoot at me until that's repaired, so I'll probably be able to kill them before then. What I'm going to do is I'm going to fire a tungsten round at their shield pulsar, which is going to destroy it. Oh, no, it's not going to destroy it because their shields were still up. I should have sapped that first. I'm too busy talking. That's fine. And what I'll do is I'll just hit them with a Restrain, and that will make them discard that card. I'm going to get rid of the sap, and I'm going to play the Firewall to just get the security back. Firewall has a mounting cost, depending on how much security you have, so you kind of want to play it first. The only option I've got here is to radiate, so I'll do that. All of my attack cards are currently on cooldown. You'll see when I get 4 cards back next turn, and then I'll just finish this off with a pinpoint. And then, I don't have enough for the drill round, unfortunately. Let's just end the turn. We'll get them next turn. They don't have a card yet here. And we'll fire the drill round just to finish them. And that's our first combat dub. We took 4 damage there, which wasn't too bad. Alright, now we get some credits, and we get to add a card to our deck. So we can either add shatter rounds, which is actually really nice. It's an upgrade that whenever we destroy a piece of equipment with a railgun, they take an extra turn to repair. There's another restrain here, which is the one that makes them discard a card. That's quite nice. Effective hold up. I don't think I've seen this one before. Gain 1 ordnance for every 2 cards in hand at the end of turn. Duration 4 turns on stack. Add duration 2. So every time you play it, you add another 2 duration to it. Oh, another weapon coolant. I really like the idea of getting another restrain. That's a really good card, but shatter rounds is also extremely powerful. I think I'm going to grab the shatter rounds for now, but I might regret not getting that restrain. Okay, and now we'll move on to the next encounter, and I'll explain a little bit more once we've done that. The last fight drew the attention of everyone in the area. Multiple ships are approaching on intercept course, but only one of them is close enough to get into combat range in time. So it's another one of the same ship. They've got a laser cannon and a shield with less health, actually. This is a beam laser, so it's a little bit different. So I've got my shatter rounds. It'd be good to play them earlier. That's radiate, first of all. That gains me 2 energy. I'm not going to be able to play my dual range and my shatter rounds this turn. So what I'll do is I'll play the shatter rounds, and we'll just hold a next turn we'll be able to drill round. One thing we're going to be able to do soon is upgrade our generator to produce more stats, and then I'm going to end the turn. So that's just going to last for the rest of the fight now, and any piece of equipment I destroy takes +1 turns to destroy, to damage. Okay, so I've got my drill round, and I've got pinpoint this turn. I've got ordnance to fire both of them. I'm going to fire the pinpoint first at the beam laser. Now, unfortunately, we're not going to be able to do enough damage to destroy it this turn, but we're going to take 6 damage either way. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hold the drill round this turn. I'm going to firewall. I'm going to end the turn. And the reason I'm holding the drill round is I want to use it to destroy the piece of hull, the component, so I do the extra 4 damage. So we'll use another round first. So I'm going to fire the tungsten round's actually going to destroy it outright. Well, we'll just destroy it with the tungsten round then. I should have optimized first. That was a bad play. I'll do that now. So optimize gets me 1 mass for every ordnance I use. And I'm just going to fire the drill round at this hull component. So he's going to put a shield up this turn, but we'll sap that next turn. And you can see it's going to take him 4 turns to repair the beam laser. Okay, so the barrier is up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sap his barrier. And that just reduces it down to 1 shield. And I'm just going to fire this off to see if there's anything we get to draw back. It doesn't look like it. Okay, we're back in action. So I can hit him with a pinpoint first. I don't actually have enough to play this. 2 and 2, yeah. So I hit him with a pinpoint. That'll destroy the barrier. Take that down to 1 health. Then we'll hit him with a drill round, and then I'll drop it by another, and he'll take a big chunk of damage, and then we'll end the turn. And we should get him next turn. He can't play any cards. All of his equipment is destroyed. So we should just shoot something, and that's him railgunned out. So this ship's whole thing is about just completely removing the enemy's ability to play. So we've got a pinpoint round. We've got another restraint. We've got an asteroid ore that gives you 4. Ordnance, and then you deplete the card. Coolant flow here reduces the cooldown of cards in the discard pile by 1. Sustain 1 heat for every 5 cards affected. 2 heat gain. Coolant flow is very good, but getting a second restrain will actually be very powerful. That'll really help us against later enemies by making them discard cards all the time. Okay, so now we move on to this neutral point here. After we reach the blockade, multiple ships try to make a run to exit the system. As we mix in with a group of civilian vessels, the Starkin gunships break off pursuit and focus on keeping the fleeing ships in. Incoming message request, Captain. It's impossible to isolate the source with so many ships grouped together. Unknown contact. Greetings, Captain. Impressive skills you've shown there. I could use the services of a bold freelancer such as yourself. I'm a data broker by trade, willing to offer a generous reward in exchange for some valuable intel. I need to gather data on the most powerful gunships in this sector. All you need to do is send your combat logs to the specified coordinates after fighting 2 elite ships, and I'll transfer 150 credits on delivery. Oh, and Captain, pick a weapon from my reserves while you're at it. You'll need all the firepower you can get. Consider it an investment in your future. So you get the option of getting an ion cannon or a quad flak. Ion cannon is a weapon that adds a delay to the enemy being able to use their weapons or increases their cooldowns, and the quad flak is just shreds the armor on a ship. I think the ion doesn't do much damage. What the ion does is going to let me, unfortunately I can't, if I click on it, it'll take it. But what the ion will do is, their shots are cheap, and they're very good against shields, actually, as ion. It's a great shield killer. The quad flak is just more straight damage. The ion is probably the better one here because the cards it adds are cheaper. A few moments later, a transport container emerges from somewhere in the group of ships headed for your location. You pry it open in the cargo bay after a security scan and open up its contents. And we have it installed. Okay, so now we have the ion cannon installed in our ship, and it adds the sling and the ion spear cards to our deck. So sling does 6 ion damage, which only damages shield. And then if we break their shield, we'll add 6 ionize, and that delays one of their actions by 1. And they've got an ion spear as well. It does 8 shield damage essentially. And if we break their shield, it disables the equipment you were shooting at for 2 turns. So it does actually work quite nicely with the railgun by getting rid of their shields and by also slowing, kind of also stopping them from doing things. It's more like a debuff. Now, we have 134 credits available to us. We could, if we wanted to, upgrade our generator, which would give us the ability to add more gain of one of our resources. We could bump one of these up to 3 a turn rather than 2. I'm going to hold on to that for a second because we may get an event that gives us a merchant. There's some wreckage here, there's a conflict zone, and there's a conflict zone. So what we need to do now really is plot our path through the system. I would like to hit this space station because we are neutral with the free roamers, so we'll be able to buy stuff there. So really, we either go around this way or we come around this way. What we could do, if we're feeling very brave, is go through this elite combat, then... we can't quite do that actually. Oh, we could go through this elite combat, fly to here, come to this elite combat, come back to this station, and then hit this station. I think I might try and do that. We'll go through this wreckage first. It's quite a tough route, but that'll get us the extra money. So we're going to move in to inspect the wreckage. The wreckage in front of us seems to be the source of the signal our sensors detected. The ship's reactor is close to critical state and could explode at any time. No survivors detected on board. Do you want to move in closer to inspect the wreckage? Upon closer inspection, you see a piece of equipment that is still in working condition. It's risky, but we can attempt to salvage it before any other scavenger ships show up and the reactor goes critical. So I'm going to move into position to start the scavenge operation. As your ship approaches the wreck, you discover you aren't the only one brave or stupid enough to attempt the salvage. Started, the other ship panics and prepares to engage. Okay, so we got ourselves into a fight trying to loot the ship. It is another Lancer. Looks like it has a laser and a very powerful shield, which is going to be quite tricky to deal with. Now, because we have an extra card, we actually have an extra card slot, an extra piece of equipment. We have an extra card slot here, which is pretty cool. You can also see our ion cannon is now mounted on the bottom of the ship. What we want to do is basically take out his shield, and then try and basically restrain back his laser weapon. So if I can get 1 security, which I can do with Cypher, I can remove his laser pulse and not worry about it. So we're going to focus on taking out the shield. I'm going to play optimization because it's free and that gets me some extra ordnance for using it. And I'm going to fire a tungsten round at the rampart. We'll hold playing our restrain for a turn because there's no point making it discard now. We'll wait until it's about to fire and then we'll make them discard it. There's no point ion spearing because they have no shields. I'm going to discard the weapon coolant just to draw an extra, so just to keep our hand clear. I'm going to end the turn. So we have this stat down here called morale, command points. I called it morale earlier. We gain them for traveling around and we can use them to use the special abilities of our crew. Okay, we're going to destroy the rampart with a, do we have a drill round? Yeah, we're going to use a drill round on that. So that means they can't bring up any shields. Then we're going to use Cypher here to gain 1 security. We're going to play a restrain on the enemy ship to consume 1 security and discard a random enemy attack card instead. And that means they don't get to use an attack card on us, making them completely ineffective now in this combat. Then I'm going to fire a pinpoint at their other item. And then we're going to discard the ion spear because we've actually destroyed that component. We're going to hold on to the restrain and we're going to end the turn. And there's nothing they can do. So they've just drawn another card. We have to wait 2 turns for that card to play. And we should hopefully destroy this piece of equipment in time. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to play Shadow Round so that going forward, anytime we destroy a piece of equipment, it is destroyed for longer. And I'm going to play Firewall to gain 1 security because I've got a restrain here that I can use next turn to make them discard their laser pulse. I'm also going to play Radiate just to get our energy up. And I'm going to discard Sap because they don't have a shield. Again, they can't do anything. Okay, I'm going to drop... no point playing optimization this turn because we don't have enough energy to play tungsten round. There's no point playing sling this turn because they have no shields, but I will restrain away their laser pulse. I'm going to discard the sling for now, and we're going to end the turn. I'm not sure. Oh, that's them fixing their piece of equipment. And now we should be able to finish this ship off. So I've got a tungsten round here, which will do 6 damage, and I've got a drill round here, which will do an extra hull damage. So I can fire both of them. We'll do tungsten round first. That drops that down to 1, and then we'll do... Oh, I don't have enough for the drill round, but I do have enough for the railgun. I should have used the optimization first. Let's hit them with a pinpoint. That'll take that laser pulse out of action. They're down to 3 hull. Next turn, we'll kill them with a drill round. We should be able to kill them with a drill round. There we go. And we've still only taken 10 damage so far this playthrough. Let's add a card to our deck. Impetus is another upgrade. On equipment destroy, return a railgun card from the discard pile to your hand. There's another ion spear here. Leech defenses. 50% of the enemy's next shield card is transferred to you, plus the 25% for each security. Lose all security. War effort. Gain 1 ordnance for every 1 ordnance you produce. Draw an attack card, sustain 2 heat. That's not bad. Oh, there's another weapon coolant here. I don't think I want to get Impetus. It's good, Impetus, sorry, but it's another quite expensive blue upgrade. Mind you, not many of my cards use blue. And this getting me cards back from a discard pile would be quite nice. I'm going to grab this. Maybe we should have gotten the war card. I'm not sure. So we are now sitting on quite a lot of points. We're going to go back to... precious time was lost in combat, but the reactor's still there. The reactor's slowly inching towards a critical state, but there's still some time left for salvaging any useful equipment. What do you want to do? I want to move into start scavenging. Okay, so on a 30... We roll the dice. On a 30% we succeed. On a 25% we take 5 hull damage. I'm willing to gamble 5 hull damage. Okay, nothing happened, so we get to roll again. There's now a 50% chance it'll explode. I'm still willing to gamble the 5 hull damage. Okay, it blew up. So we take 5 hull damage, and we don't get anything else. And we lose 1 morale as well. So it wasn't the best outcome. Now, we are currently sitting on 157 credits. There's no sign anywhere near us of a place to spend those credits. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to upgrade the reactor, and then I'm going to use our extra power to increase our ordnance production by 1. So that means we're going to get 3 ordnance per turn rather than 2. Let's move into this conflict zone. We're going to get put into a fight with a Solaris ship. Looks like an old transport ship. They've got a hacking center and a laser center, so we don't even need to keep any cards in our hand that do shield damage because they're not going to do anything here. Let's discard this weapon coolant as well. I'm going to open up with shatter rounds. If I do that, I won't be able to use a draw round, but that's fine because I can't destroy anything this turn. So I'm going to open up with shatter rounds, and I'm going to end the turn. They're not going to be able to fire this turn, and hopefully we can destroy the laser pulse next turn. I can actually restrain them if I can't destroy it, which doesn't look like I can. So what we'll do is we'll use Cypher to gain 1 security, and we'll restrain them to make them discard the laser pulse. Then I'm going to use Firewall to gain 1 security, and then I'm going to optimize, and I'm going to fire a drill round at their hacking center, and then we're going to end the turn. Okay, we're a little bit high on ordnance, so I'm going to reduce our ordnance income and increase our mass income here, just until we can get impetus plate. I've got a radiate here. We're going to use that to gain an extra 2 energy. I'm going to discard this sling because it doesn't do anything for us. I can play both the pinpoint and the tungsten round. So this will do 5 damage. This will do 6 damage. So we'll destroy this with this. And that's their hacking center gone. And then we'll use the pinpoint to just fire at the laser pulse, and then we'll end the turn. I've got a restrain for their laser pulse, so we'll get rid of the card they're going to play. Oh, did I not have 1 security? I didn't have 1 security there. That was my bad. I still reduced a pulse from it. I'm just going to discard both of these because they don't do anything right now. And what I want to do is I'm going to remove 1 pip from our mass income and put it back into ordnance income. Then we're going to discard weapon coolant. We're going to play impetus. I'm going to play optimization. I'm going to drill round their laser pulse, which isn't going to kill it, unfortunately. And then I'm going to bring up a firewall as well. I'm going to end the turn. Okay, this is going to be a big turn. So actually, we don't have a lot of mass available to us right now. So we'll just switch back. Maybe I need to just leave this on mass income. I'm going to discard the sling. I'm going to pinpoint this to destroy it. That should get us a card back. Then we're going to pinpoint this again. So we got the card back from the impetus. It just draws us a card whenever we destroy a piece of hardware. And you can see that we're doing this thing again where we're stopping them from being able to act. We don't need the ion spear. Let's fire the tungsten round here. And then we'll hold the restrain. I don't need the sap. We will radiate just to gain some energy, and we'll end the turn. Taking a little bit of damage here. Let's... Did they just fire a laser at us? They shouldn't have been able to do that because their laser cannon was broken. I need to go back and check that. I think they just fired a laser at us. We'll destroy this with this, and that should kill them. Yeah, there we go. So we're taking a little bit of damage here, which is not looking great for going into combat against an elite enemy, which is what's happening next. I definitely don't want any more railgun cards. Deal 6 damage. Nah, we don't need a frag round. Combine arms, deal 8 ion damage and draw another offense card. That's interesting. Defiant arms. Next turn, enemy loses 1 attack power for every offense card in its hand. That sounds quite good. Rearm. Gain 2 ordnance if you end your turn with 3 or less ordnance. That's also not bad. I think I'm going to grab Defiant Arms. That sounds pretty useful. Our deck's getting a little bit big. I would have liked to have bumped into a trader ship to remove cards from our deck, but we haven't been able to do that yet. I would have got rid of those weapon coolants. Engineer. So your people in your ship all have skills, and they can randomly roll special effects. This engineer has just recovered 4 hull points. So we're going to go into an elite combat. This could be quite tricky, but let's see what we do. I'm trying to do 2 elite fights back to back, and it might be very, very difficult. So you notice with an elite, they have a lot more cards. This is a flak-based enemy. Flak cards do something called shred damage, and what shred does is for every shred you have, it reduces the minimum damage on a flak card. So this card here does 2 to 5 damage, but for every shred you have, that'll go up by 1. They also have a piece of equipment here that will just basically keep increasing the power of their flak weapons. And you can also see that flak weapons have a very low cooldown. So we're basically looking at taking a lot of low damage here. Unfortunately, yet again, the ion spears are going to be useless. I'm going to open up by firewalling, and then I'm going to radiate to remove... it didn't do what I thought it did. I can pinpoint here, so let's optimize, and I'm just going to start trying to take out their weapons. So I'm going to take out this weapon here. I'm then going to use this to draw a full kind of cards. We'll get rid of the sling, we'll get rid of the sap, and we'll get these cards ready for next turn, and we'll see how we go. Okay, we took quite a fair bit of damage there. So I've got the options here. I can hit them with the Defiant Arms, which means they lose 1 attack power for each offensive card in their hand, so they'll lose 2 attack power. I can restrain them to make them discard one of their attack cards, which I think will be a good idea, because we can drill round the other gun away. So I'm going to drill round this gun here to destroy it. It's going to take 3 runs to... I should have played Shadow Rounds first. No, I wouldn't be able to play Restrain if I did that. Then I'm going to Restrain them. That will make them discard one of the cards. I was hoping it would just discard the Cover Fire. It didn't do that. Let's Tungsten round this. And then I'm going to Defiant Arms them as well. I should have done that first too, because that will reduce their attack power by 2 rather than 1. But we're still making progress. We now have, unfortunately, basically completely emptied our resources. But they won't have this gun for another 2 turns. So we need to destroy this gun now. Weapon Coolant doesn't do anything. No. We'll save up. We'll keep the Restrain. Because I can use that to make them discard Covering Fire. Oh, they're going to fire Covering Fire this turn. Let's take 1 out of this and put 1 in here. And let's end the turns. We've got 1 shred, but they didn't fire this turn. That's another 3 damage. At least they're doing min damage at the moment. And that's all of their flak weapons now doing +1 max damage. And Barbed Shrapnel will then do that again. So they're basically just ramping up how much damage their flak can do. If I can destroy this turn, I can hold on to the Restrain for now. So this will do 6 damage. So that will destroy this. I don't have enough mass to play both of these. Pinpoint will do 6 damage as well. So that needs 2 Ordnance, 3. I can play Shadow Rounds. And that... Oh, I mathed wrong. I needed 1 more mass. I thought I'd have enough to Pinpoint as well. Means I have to take another round of damage. That wasn't great. Alright, all we can do is just sit on that. That was just a bad mistake. Okay, nothing else here would help. Okay, now we're in a little bit of a situation. So the first thing I'm going to do is I've got enough to play the Tungsten round to destroy this gun. And that's going to knock that out for 4 turns. Now this gun's going to come back online next turn. They're going to draw a card and play it into here. We don't need to care about the Barbed Shrapnel. We don't need to care about this piece of equipment if we can keep destroying both of these. I can Restrain next turn to try and get rid of this card. Optimize does nothing right now. Let's Radiate to gain 2 energy. And we'll keep hold of Impetus as well, because that might start come into effect in this fight. We're just taking a lot of damage here, which I'm not very happy about. Okay, we'll get rid of the Ion Spire. That does nothing. I can Defiant Arms and Restrain this turn, so I'm going to do both of those. I'm going to Defiant Arms first. So that's going to reduce their attack power by 2. Then we're going to Restrain. I'm going to add 1 security. I can't. I don't have enough, so we're just going to Restrain and hopefully hit this pip. Unfortunately, we didn't. We hit that pip. And then I'm going to play Impetus so that we're at least doing it. We're getting cards back when we destroy stuff. And there's a Barbed Shrapnel. Alright, let's come in. I've got a drill round here, and I've got a Pinpoint. That's enough to destroy this. They're doing a flak reload right now, which refreshes all of their rounds, so they're not actually going to attack us this turn. I'm going to get rid of Weapon Coolant, because now Impetus will do the same thing. Can I fire both of these? Yeah, I can fire both of them. So let's optimize first to get me some extra mass. Then I'm going to start with the Pinpoint to bring this down to 6. And then I'm going to drill round it to destroy it, which will do an extra 4 damage to their hull. Okay, that's looking better, and that drew us a new card. Let's end the turn. Now, both of these guns are out of action for quite a long time. And what I can do is I can build a hand that lets me destroy one of these as soon as it comes online, and basically keep them out of the fight for the rest of the fight. Let's get rid of the Sling, let's get rid of the Sap. Let's play the Firewall. I'm going to hold on to the Restrain just in case, and we're going to end the turn. Okay, that's just another bonus. We'll get rid of the Ion Spear here. I unfortunately don't have enough to destroy this turn, but it has lost a pip. So I've got a Tungsten round. I'll fire that to do 6 damage to this. I'll also... there's no point playing Defiant Arms right now. I'll Radiate to get some health. I'll hold on to both of these in case he gets a chance to fire. Okay, this is looking much better. So I've got a pinpoint and a drill round. The pinpoint will do 6 damage and destroy this. I can hold on to the drill round for this here. So that's that destroyed. What I'm going to do is I'm going to restrain just to make him discard a card. Just so that he has to redraw the card when that card comes back online. I can actually make him discard both, though I don't have enough for that. We'll hold on to this one until we're ready to go. Defiant Arms won't do anything anymore. So I still have a drill round and a pinpoint. I want to hold on to the pinpoint until I can destroy a bit of hull. And I'll hold on to the drill round until I can as well. So let's just end the turn. We've now got him in a lock where we should be able to win this fight without worrying. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this out of here and put this into here. We're going to play a firewall just to get that security. This is 10 health, this does 6, and this does 4. So we're going to optimize to gain extra mass this turn. Then we're going to start with the pinpoint here. And then we're going to drill around it. And that'll do an extra 4 hull damage. And that's destroyed that component. So now we've got 3 turns before we need to build a hull, one other weapon branch if we want to, or we could just look at killing him. Let's get rid of the sling, let's get rid of the weapon cooldown, let's get rid of the restrain. I've got another 4 damage here so we can destroy this, and I've got enough to play both the cards. So we'll tungsten round, and then we'll drill round, and that should kill him. Yeah, cool. So a little bit shaky at the start, I got better as that went on. We get a free card. Definitely want a frag round, don't want an ion spear, don't want a sap. The asteroid ore might be useful because it removes itself from its deck when we play it. I always like cards like that. And we've got a Whipple Shield here. -1 enemy flak damage, +1 to enemy shredding. Expires after taking 20 hull damage. Doesn't seem that useful for us because we don't have a shield. But what we could maybe do is sell that for a lot of money. The problem is I need to think really carefully about where we make our next move here. Because I really want to hit this elite for that extra 150 credits that the guy offered us at the start. But honestly, I don't think we can survive another fight. We need to repair, which means getting to the space station here. So I think we're actually just going to skip that and head to this space station. Now, there's a chance that we could dock here. No. Yeah. Let me talk to him, Captain. We might not be in the best terms with the Starkid, but we do not pose any security threats. So we have a negotiator on the crew, and he's able to negotiate with the station to let us dock, which is exactly what we needed to happen here. So we're going to fly into the maintenance hangar. Okay, and that means, oh, there's missile pods here. Oh, but the torpedoes are not what we want. Okay, so I'm going to sell the Whipple Shield because I don't think it's much use to us. That's going to get us 100. Now, to fully repair the ship's going to cost 144. That's going to leave us with a little bit of money left over. We could buy a heavy flak cannon. We could buy a light laser. We could buy another radiator. We could buy missile pods Mark 1. Missile pods are pretty cool, but unfortunately, in order to fire torpedoes, which do tons of damage, you need to be able to produce 5 ordnance each turn. And I just don't think we would need to upgrade. Actually, I could make this happen. It's whether we want to do this. So it only requires 3 to fire, but basically you need to turn on to 5. We could basically swap the ion cannon out for the torpedo launcher. I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to sell the ion cannon. I'm going to grab a missile pod. Now that goes into our launch bay, I believe. No, it goes into a weapon mount, so I'm going to buy this. Yep. I'm going to put that here. Oh no, where does it go? It goes into this mount, so we lose the radiator. That loses us weapon coolant and radiant. I'm not too worried about that. Let's sell off the radiator. It also has this, +2 heat threshold. I might be messing up the whole ship here. Let's do a repair all. He doesn't have a job right now. We have 134 left. I can't buy anything here. We've got a production stabilizer. It goes into a resource bay, which we don't have. Oh no, it goes into the res augmenter. Each time you don't receive HP damage, you gain 1 random resource. That's not bad. Defense protocol doesn't work because you don't have a shield generator. Energy capture goes into a railgun. Add 1 battery surge card to your deck for every 3 tactical cards you play in the same turn. I don't think I'm going to be doing that very often. I think what we do is we save up to upgrade the generator 1 more time so that it's easier for us to get to Ordnance 5. And then we can fire the torpedoes, which do 12 damage each. I think that's the way to do this. Ship's fully repaired. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. Losing the radiator might be a mistake, but having access to torpedoes is pretty powerful. They do a lot of damage. It takes some time to travel to the enemy, but that 12 damage is going to work really well. We'll go to the crew activities. This gets us +2 morale for the next 2 nodes, and then we'll just part the station. Now, we can take on this elite combat and get extra money again. And hopefully we'll get enough money from this combat to actually gain enough generator to do the crazy thing I want to do. Okay, we've got a torpedo available to us for the start. We actually draw less cards as well because of what I've done to the ship. But what I'm thinking is This is crazy, but if I take one out of here and put it in here, that gets us to 1 energy. If I take one out of here and put it in here, oh, I can't. Okay, I need to increase the capacity of this. That's good to know. We'll just do this for now. So I can't use the torpedoes just yet, but after this fight, I'll be able to use them. Here's a shield, so we'll use the firewall right now. We'll hold the sap, and we'll end the turn. He's going to charge up. If we draw a restrain right now, it'd be very good. We've got to define arms, which reduces attack power. We'll hold the sap for now. We'll discard the torpedo because we can't use it. We might as well start firing at his beam laser. We can take the 6 damage. I'm going to drop the Defiant Arms and end the turn. I'm also going to increase our energy income because it's a little bit over the top on this right now. Let's use the Asteroid Ore. That just gets us some mass. Yeah, we definitely need to look at our energy income. That's going to be a problem. I'm going to drill around this, which unfortunately won't kill it, so I'll hold it for a turn. We'll hold the sap until next turn. I can't, unfortunately, move our energy income around anymore. Let's just end the turn here. We're going to take 3 damage. And then he's going to shield up. So we can sap his shield away. Although it's only got 4. I need to start using some cards. Let's sap him. Let's just hold the firewall for now. I'm going to move this to here. So we're not going over our heat. You take extra damage if you're overheating. I'm going to drop the optimization just because it's taking up room in space in my hand. I need to draw some attack cards. I need to kill this beam sweep next turn. Alright. Torpedo does nothing. I've got shadow rounds and a drill round. Unfortunately, I still can't do anything with that. But let's play the shadow rounds. I'll hold the firewall. I'll hold the drill round. We're just waiting to draw more cards, basically. That's another 6 damage, unfortunately. Okay. Discard the torpedo. Keep drawing torpedoes. Discard the Defiant Arms. I'm just going to have to fire this drill round because we need to make some progress here. And I'll firewall up. And then we have to hope that if nothing happens next turn, I'll play out of tension. Okay, Shield Pulse, which gives him 4. I can restrain away his beam sweep, but I can also destroy it. He's got 4 shields, which is going to make this a little bit harder. We'll optimize this turn. So Tungsten Round will do 6 damage, which will get through his shield and destroy the beam sweep. Yeah, we'll do that. And then we'll also fire a shot at his shield generator too. And that's going to take 4 turns to recharge. We should have the win from here. It's a little bit awkward with us not able to use these torpedoes. I'll play Impetus. There's no point sapping him right now. There's no point holding on to the restraint. I'll hold the sap for when he shield pulses next. And then what we'll do is... we're drawing so many cards I don't really want right now. I'll play this just to get him to discard that card. We'll hold. He's going to shield this turn. Okay, we'll discard the torpedo. I know the torpedoes have really messed my hand up for this game. And we'll discard the torpedo and end the turn. Okay, we should be able to kill him here. So that will do 4, that'll do 5. So it's not quite enough to do that, but I can fire the drill round here. And then I've got a tungsten round and I've got a pinpoint. So I'll fire the tungsten round here. And then I can fire the pinpoint here and kill him. Bit clunky because I didn't have enough to get my ordnance up to 5. So we'll add a card. Definitely an AP round. Deals 6 damage if enemy shred. I don't have a way to add shred. I don't want to do Defiant Arms. Ammo dump gives us 4 ordnance, or we can get another torpedo. I think I'm going to go all in on the missiles, and it may be a huge mistake, but we'll find out. Let's continue. Because once they're fired, they're out of my deck, and that's 36 damage that I've got available to me from torpedoes. Engineer patched up the ship. Let's remember to upgrade the capacity on this, so we can get this to 5. And what I'm thinking we'll actually do is maybe start fights with 5 production so that I can get those torpedoes out as fast as possible. Is that what I want to do? It'll make everything else really difficult, but it saves the energy of me having to pump it up, and then I can just move it out into the other 2 after that. Oh, this is probably a huge mistake. Let's see what happens. I've never tried this before. I never managed to get torpedoes to work before, but now we have to fight an elite fight, and I've maybe just thrown all the caution to the wind. Okay, we've got a torpedo. We can fire that straight away. In fact, we can fire 2 torpedoes this turn. So I'm going to fire 2 torpedoes and Defiant Arms him, which will make his... Actually, he doesn't need to worry about anything right now, because he can't fire anything. So we're going to fire a torpedo. And then we're going to fire a torpedo. And they're going to do 24 damage in 2 turns. Now, there's 1 torpedo left in my deck. And I would like to hold it until I can fire that. So I'm going to discard Defiant Arms, and I'm going to use Add Attention to draw. We'll play the Asteroid Ore. We'll discard the Firewall for now. I'll hold on to these 2 rounds. And the 7 cards left in my deck, 1 of them is a torpedo. The chances of drawing it are really low. I think what I want to do is just take 2 out of this and redistribute to here, and we'll just hold until we can play that torpedo. But I want to be able to fire other stuff after this. Okay, he's got a chain laser. There's the other torpedo, of course. I don't have the energy to do anything about it this turn, but this is going to be a big turn because these 2 missiles are going to hit next turn. He's going to got the laser pulse here. I can do 6 and 4, which will destroy the laser pulse. Do I have enough? I need 5 mass. Yeah, I've got enough to... No, I don't have enough ordnance to do this. But I can pinpoint and tungsten, which will destroy it. I just won't do the extra hull damage. Okay, that's that destroyed and out of action for 3 turns. Let's end the turn. Torpedoes are going to hit next turn. He's going to fortify. There you go. That's the torpedoes hitting. It did tons of damage to him. Let's get that other torpedo in the air. And then I'm going to hit him with a restraint to try and slow that chain burst down. Unfortunately, hit his laser pulse instead. So he's gonna have chain burst available next turn. Okay, we've got shatter rounds available. I'm just going to start filtering our heat away from this. So we're at 3 heat right now. I can drill around his chain burst. I can also play shatter rounds. Let's shatter rounds first, and then we'll drill around his chain burst. And then I'm going to play impetus as well. And we're going to end the turn. Chain burst train laser does quite a lot of damage. He's fortifying up. Here comes the torpedo. That's another chunk of damage. I don't have any attacks this turn, unfortunately. Let's discard the sap. Discard the Defiant Arms. I'll hold the Restrain. I'm going to just filter our last energy out of that. We can keep the Optimization because I think we're only going to draw 2 cards here. No attacks from him this turn. He's down to 11 hit points. Okay, let's play the Firewall, and we'll restrain him to make him discard an attack card. So the Chain Burst is exactly what we wanted left. We can destroy that with a Tungsten Round. And he gets no attacks from us this turn. And then I should have optimized first. I didn't. Let's end the turn. But this torpedo build might actually be working, which is amazing. All right, what's next? He's down to 7 hit points. The pinpoint will do 6 to a damage, and this will do an extra 4. Can I fire both of them? I need 6. Yeah, I can. So I'm going to pinpoint this, and then I'm going to drill around it, and that should kill him because it'll do 8 damage to him. Oh no, his shields! I forgot about his shields. That's down. Let's try and restrain away. Yeah, that's cool. That attack's done. I should have optimized as well. I can't believe I forgot that he had shielded up last turn. I was too busy thinking if I could kill him. Okay, Sap and Defiant Arms do nothing for us here. Let's discard this and discard this. And let's draw a hand of cards. Everything was on cooldown. I didn't check that first. Okay, I'm going to Firewall and then sap away his shield. And then I'm going to fire a Tungsten Round at this, which is going to fire this turn. It's not going to destroy it, but it will get some hull damage through. 4 damage to us. Alright, I've got to drill around in a pinpoint. I think I can do this. This will destroy that piece of hull completely. And then I can just finish him off with a drill round after that. Okay, that was a bit spicy, but we got there, and I'm really happy with that. We've got a puncture rounds for railgun cards do +1 extra damage if the enemy shred is over 2. That does nothing for us, but we can sell it because we don't have a way of adding shred. We didn't take a thing. I don't think I want to add any. Deal 18 ion damage in 2. I don't like that. Gain 1 for every 2 cards in hand in a turn. I don't want any of these. I'm going to skip. I'm going to continue. Okay, we are getting quite close to the end. I'm going to basically beeline for the end now. So we've got 3 fuel left. So I'm going to go to this here, and then I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and come out here. So we're going to try to avoid fights until we get to the last boss. By the time your crew is finished gathering any useful salvage many records of combat located Transfleet, thank you for your services. As per agreement, the funds have been transferred until we meet again. Okay. Judging by the times we did transfer incoming measures, the data broker's ship should be within scanner range, but our sensors are not picking anything up. Let's spend an extra 150 to increase our generator, and I'm going to put that into mass. So now we don't have to balance as hard at the start of a fight, and then we're going to jump over. So this is a waypoint. No, we're gonna, because I can do 1 jump, then 1 fuel, 2 fuel, 3 fuel, leave, and then we go straight to the boss. That's what we're gonna do. Okay? So this video is going on a bit long, but we'll just finish the run in this video. We'll get there as close as we can. Captain Mission Reporter, scouts pick up signs of combat ahead. A slightly unarmed ship is being attacked by a free roamer gunship. The civilian ship hull integrity is critical. Said as captain, we have a score to settle with that Solari ship. So we can either draw the attention of the ship, which will gives them an advantage. We get +1 Solari, -1 free roamers. That doesn't matter to us, and the free roamers like us right now. We're going to a free roamer station next, so we're just going to proceed and ignore that. We're then going to jump to the free roamer station. We're going to dock with the station. We're going to enter the maintenance hangar. Takes a second to load. We're going to repair all. We're going to sell the puncture rounds. That leaves us with 93, which isn't enough to buy anything. There's a light flak and there's an attack forge here. I've never seen this component before. Next attack this turn gets a bonus damage equal to its energy cost. Offensive assurance. Deals +1 damage. Upkeep. Don't take any hull damage. Wow. These are some cool cards. The attack forge would work very well with the railgun. Where would this go? It would go into our... I don't know if we've got a slot for it because nothing's getting highlighted. We can't afford it though. I'd have to sell something else for it, and I don't want to sell anything. What I would really like at the moment is actually the ability to sell some of our cards. That attack forge is cool. I didn't check any of these. We can't afford any of them. These are augments for our bits. Let's just get extra morale on our crew. We're back to full health, which is great. So we'll crew activities. We'll head over to the station bar, and then we'll depart the station. There's an escape pod here. That might make us a nice piece of crew. Your sensors pick up a garbled distress signal coming from an escape pod. After sending a drone to inspect the pod, you notice it's of Newman origin. Newman go to great lengths to avoid contact with any outside faction. Whatever this pod is doing here is very far from Newman's space. What you wish to do? Well, can't leave someone in the escape pod out there. You pick up the escape pod and pry into the cargo hold. And we're also going to let the guy put the Newman back in the pod and space it in front of all your crewmates. Why would I do that? Welcome the Newman on board. Thank you, Captain. Not many have trusted Newman on board the ship. I'll aid you in your journey in return for your kindness. So I think we now have an extra crew member. We do. So now I've got next shield card play. This turn gets plus 50% shield points. Newman's still work in progress, so it doesn't have a special stats for him. But he's a gunner. That's quite cool. Now we can go to this waypoint. The ship's console flash already. His shield system malfunction. Crew tries to diagnose a problem. However, you are unable to with more sophisticated equipment. Shield malfunction disadvantage until you reach a space station. It doesn't matter because we're going straight to a space station here. There's no point docking with the station because the next point is the end, and this is the boss fight. So let's jump into the fight with the boss. And hopefully our torpedo strat is enough to do something to this boss, but it's a very, very hard fight. I've only beaten it once and not with this ship. You can see that they have a lot of guns. So this thing here upgrades their flak. They've got 2 flak. I've got flak and missile. We don't have any PD to deal with them. They've got the ability to raise shields and get 12 shield points, and then they've got the ability to also do stuff with flak. So this is going to be pretty tough. But we've got 2 torpedoes to start with, and it's going to take 2 turns for their shields to go up. So the torpedoes are going to hit on the turn their shields go up, unfortunately. We can launch both the torpedoes this turn, so that's what I want to do. Okay, and then I'm going to play shadow rounds, and I'm going to redraw a hand of cards. That means we can fire the other torpedo next turn. That's great. The restrain, I can play that next turn as well. And we're not going to be able to play that next turn. I'm going to play that the turn after, and then we can redistribute our stats after that. And nothing else I want to do here. Next attack card plays plus 50 damage, gain 1 security. Let's end for now. So it hit us with some flak. And it's going to hit us with some flak again. Alright, let's fire our other torpedo just so they're all out of our deck, and then we can do this. Okay, we've got optimization for next turn, we've got a restrain for next turn. Obviously, the Star Flare would have been nice to take out. The Star Flare is going to hit us for 6 damage, but we've got a lot of damage coming at them. Unfortunately, they are going to get shields up this turn. So, unfortunately, the shields are going to get eaten by one of these torpedoes, but that also gets rid of the shields for us to do stuff. Just looking at what we've got here, I kind of want to draw some cards, so I'm going to dump the restrain and the optimization just to open our hand up. There's a Starfire getting launched, and here come 2 torpedoes. Okay, and then we're going to try and take down their shield amplifier as our main target here, which is going to be tricky. We'll play the firewall. We'll dump this. I'm going to play the impetus just so it's out of our deck, and we're going really slow here. We're just trying to get set up, really. Just playing all of my support cards before we can get into combat. We're down to half health. Okay, this is our chance. They've got no shields at the moment. And there's a hit from a torpedo. So I can do 8 damage and 4 damage. So that's going to take out their shield generator. They're also reloading this turn. And that's out of action for 4 turns. So they can't bring their shields back up for 4 turns. Defiant Arms is not as important right now as restraining them, I think. So I'm going to hold for a restrain. They're going to launch another Star Flare here. They've also got Improvised Flak coming. That's a 7 to 9 damage because we've got Shred 5. We're in dire straits, but we should hopefully be able to get on top of this really soon. Down to 9 health, so we can't afford to take another hit. Now, concussive shells here is going to do 10 damage to us, so we have to focus that down. Let's optimize. And then I'm going to... That does 8 damage, that does 6 damage. So we can get rid of concussive shells. And take that gun out of action. Oh, I didn't notice improvised flak was also going to fire. That's it, we're dead. Try to do too many things at once. I maybe should have restrained. There's nothing else I can do here because this improvised flak... If this improvised flak doesn't kill us, the incoming star flare will. And that's going to be it. That is GG for this run. I just didn't focus enough on how... I think I took too long to set all of this up, and I filled our deck potentially with a little bit too much crap. So that's going to be the end of the run. We're going to take a hit there from the flak, and we're down. Damn. Oh, I was really hoping we'd win that. Well, as you can see, the game is pretty hard, but pretty fun, and I hope this was enough of a tease to get you interested in it. I'm certainly looking forward to it. Going to play the demo a bunch more, and we'll see how development goes. I'm not going to say it's an instant buy, but I had a lot of fun with it. It really does tick the boxes for me. I like a deck building game that doesn't take too long to play and rewards some interesting play styles. And hopefully this showcased something that you don't normally see because I've got some extra content that's not in the demo. So thank you for watching. Let me know in the comments if you're going to check Breachway out. And if you want to check the demo out for yourself, check the link in the description below and I'll have a link to the store page. And maybe you'll be able to meet the boss where I didn't. But thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you later. Ciao for now.